Hey everybody, my name's Ollie Cardle. I'm a Freeletics ambassador from the UK.
This is Angelo, Freeletics ambassador from the United States.
Welcome to the Shaped by Gods podcast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello everybody, welcome back to the Shaped by Gods podcast. We are back for another episode. It's me, Ollie, and my main man, Angelo. We are back for the Shaped by Gods podcast. This is episode 6. Let's have a quick recap on last week before we get going into this week. I'm very excited about this week's show. I'm feeling some good energy. I can see Angelo. You might not be able to see Angelo dancing right now.
The energy is everywhere.
That's right.
Yeah.
If I'm talking, I'm on the screen. So if you're silently dancing, no one can see it. I just got you dancing about in the background. Right.
Hello there.
Freeze. Okay, cool. So we are back. Last week, what did we speak about? We spoke about the negative side of other outside influences on your life, and the way you can deal with those. And the best way to deal with outside influences is internally. It's all about your mindset and how you completely reset that. To some people, that opportunity never arises. They don't realize that they are actually in control. It's up to you. You control your destiny. Angelo, you spoke about you had some outside influences that kind of showed you the way and gave you a little bit of guidance to make you think your own thoughts and not be poisoned by the thoughts of others. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, last week it was a little personal. I took a personal side outside. I think that was the best thing I could do, to get more connected with you and everybody. Personal experience, something that I don't know something that somebody told me, something that I went through and how I grew outside of it, and how, of course, the external the outside people, outside of the family, how they changed my mindset and they made me see a different world, than the one I believed from the people I loved, the world that I believed, the state, how is that world that we live in. And the whole thing changed. It was a game changer. Yep. A little personal on the last episode. And it's always personal experience, whatever we do on this podcast, because that's the best. We saying by everything by experience.
That's right. That's what we're sharing. We're not sharing things that we've read about other people experiencing. I think you can lose a connection emotionally if you're only going on what you've read from other people. If you've been through it yourself, you've been through those times. And I think what was important for your journey in particular was not only did you have an outside influence that came in and gave you some guidance, but also I think it was very important that you were at the point where you were ready to hear it and ready to act on it. So I think to some people,
to be honest, I wasn't. To be honest, I wasn't, because I was to the point of complaining. Another day of complaining, another person to complain to. And it just happened to be the person that had the power to change, the power to give the message. And I was just, for people, the teaching, for the teacher is another student, so for that person, I was just another person that she could transfer the message, she could say something, and it happened. And, which is everybody has its moment, you need your moment to change. I need my moment to change. It could be anything. Like, let's say, for example, people that they smoke. Sometimes they never quit smoking, but sometimes getting a moment of something happens to somebody because of smoking, or something happens to them because of smoking, something like a health condition, whatever. And this is the moment for them to change, something that is connected with their feelings and their emotions. And this is the moment for them to change. So for me, that question that happened to me, what if was all I knew about my family, family past and experience. It was connected to me with my my emotions and everything, my mind, who I am, my identity. And that question just shook my whole thing. So yeah, I wasn't ready. It was just a random moment with a very specific question, and my brain just changed. You know, at that moment, I started questioning myself.
Yeah. So you hadn't thought about it up until that point. You hadn't thought about it. In that
Never. I was always, the right is this, is how they say everything is that way. You know, people never change, nothing changes. You always gonna get what you get because of this, because of this, because of this. And it wasn't my words, you know. It was other people's words, and the people that I loved, they were going through me. You know, I was just another clone brain of them, you know, a mixture of them. And
I think it's quite sad.
This question,
it's quite sad sometimes when people believe that. I mean, obviously, there's so many people that are in that environment, and it's almost it's contagious, where the beliefs that are passed down from generation to generation. And I think the worst thing is when people genuinely believe, oh, this is what I am, this is what I was born as, so this is what I've got to be. I was born this way, so that's the hand I was dealt. I think it's quite sad when people never get that realization, where you're not dealt a hand, you know, and you don't have to stick with it if you are. It's well within your control. Obviously, circumstances are different for other people, but generally speaking, you have the power to change things. I mean, people move from poverty and they escape. I mean, obviously, different circumstances, you are limited in certain circumstances, but generally speaking, you can escape the reality that you're in and start a brand new one. But it's very hard to believe that if you've always been told that you can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very, very true. And you know, sometimes all this kind of stuff, they're leading to for you to believe that you cannot change. And there comes to where you said, you know, some people, they say, oh, this is who I am, you know, yeah, I cannot change it. And the most famous phrase that everybody says, oh, you know, that's who I am. If you like it, you know, that's my way or the highway, you know, like they say here. And it's not like that. You can, everybody can change. And I'm not telling you to change, but there's always improvement. Like when you do a workout and it takes you an hour to finish it, I'm not telling you, like, you know, go do it faster, but you know you can do it faster, you can improve, you can become better form, better technique, and everything. You know, this is the same thing with your personality. I'm not telling you all need to change right now, but I'm just telling you there is an improvement. You know, you can be better, and the improvement never stops. The improvement, learning every day. You know, just like the injuries. I did the injury like 2 weeks ago. I hurt my back because of my, I didn't think about it, but now I learned. Now I'll remember for the next time. It's just we're learning from the mistakes, and we don't have to blame, you know, we don't have to blame the other people for whatever is happening. We just, you know, learn from it, take it, isolate it, you know, analyze it, and then go to the next step.
As a species, we are able to change our futures by thoughts. You know, you use your brain, use your power of thought. And I think as well, I mean, it has been quite harmful. The human approach to these things for a long time can be harmful if you approach it in the wrong way. I mean, if you heard of the saying, a leopard could never change his spots. So for me, it depends on what lesson you're trying to teach. Say if you're trying to teach your kids a certain lesson, well, if you know, he is what he is and he will always be that, you know, if you're born that way, you're likely to stay that way for the rest of your life. So it happens in say, like if someone's had a rough upbringing and they've had a hard time and they turn to crime for some reason. Some people believe that once you're a criminal, you're always a criminal. But it can be circumstantial, and it's not always the case. I think that's quite a harmful saying, the leopard never changes spots, because obviously, you know, as a species, what separates us from the rest of the animal kingdom is our power to think and to change and to morph and to decide. And to be creative and have that imagination where you can imagine things. I mean, the reason we are where we are now, as far as technology and human advancements are concerned, is because people thought about things that no one had ever thought about, and they did it. They think, you know, I'm gonna do it. I mean, if you look at the fact that I'm speaking to you now, I'm in a room in the UK, you're in a room in the US and we're just speaking to each other, that should be enough to blow people's minds and to have them to realize that if you can imagine something, then you can do it. You know, as long as it falls within the laws of physics, obviously. But you know, if you can imagine it, you can do it. So why can't that apply to small things like your personal goals and changes that you're making in your own life? Which actually, Angelo, I see that's going to take us to what we're going to speak about this week. Actually, that's coming quite nicely, and that was not at all planned, but that's coming quite nicely this week. We're going to be talking about change rather than chance, and the power of change, and how you can't leave things to chance. It's up to you to change something. If you don't change anything, then nothing's going to change. So it's all about taking control, and it's all about changing your future by the power of you know, enforcing change by your actions and your thoughts, and you know, educating yourself and becoming more than what you believe you can be originally. It's important, isn't it, Angela? Change like that mindset of changing, rather than you know, just leaving things like people that play the lottery because they want their life to change, and that's they've got all their eggs in that one basket. And I don't know if it's the same in your country, but in my country, people will be on their lunch breaks at work, and the discussion for the whole lunch break will be, what would you do if you won the lottery? And they'll sit there. They're not advancing in any way. They're not spending that spare time educating themselves further, becoming more valuable to their employer. What they're doing is they're sitting there discussing, if my numbers come up in the lottery tonight, this is what I'm going to do with the money. And the chances are, if your numbers do come up in the lottery and you bought a ticket, the chances are you haven't really educated yourself well enough to look after that money anyway. So yeah, I think it's about change rather than chance. Don't put all your eggs in the lucky basket. You got to start putting some in your work. You know, got to put some of those eggs to work.
That's a beautiful example with the lottery, because it happens every time, you know, when the lottery price, you know, the winning price goes a little bit higher than expected. You know, everybody start running to get a ticket. Yeah, more people than ever before. And they're going crazy. They're in the news, you know, about the winning price, how high it is. And every day you're just listening, oh, if I get the millions, if I get the thousands or whatever, I'm going to do this, and this. And I'm going to leave this job, and I'm going to buy a car, and I'm going to buy this. So what is more important to me in this conversation, when the people are doing this conversation, is listening to, I'm going to leave this job, I'm going to leave this job, I'm going to leave this job and do this. Exactly. And it's a huge thing, because nobody is happy at the place they are, right? They always imagining what they're going to do if they win something that they're putting, like the percentage of winning the lottery. Everybody knows it's one in a million. Okay, I'm not telling you you're not going to win it, but it's 1 in a million. So, and it's not happening every day. You know, it's not like every day you have 1 in a million and you have a million days in your life. You know, it's a huge difference. So the people are saying about leaving the job and how they unhappy they are and all this kind of stuff. And I'm questioning myself, like, people, they know they don't like their job. They know they don't like the environment. They know they don't like their life right now. They feel discomfort. They feel upset. They feel depression. They feel anxiety. They don't want to wake up in the morning and come out to work. What are they doing for it? Yeah, like, nobody does anything for it. Okay, you go buy like $2 a ticket, and you put in your life, like your life change into numbers, like 1 in a 300 million, whatever chances. And then you just wait. And then you wake up again depressed the next day. And if you lose the ticket, then you're going to be depressed again. And you're watching your life fading away over the years, 20, 30 years, being depressed and having nothing. And accept that. Like, it's okay if you have nothing. People can be the happiest people in the world by having nothing. It's not like, we're not talking about to be materialistic, you know. It's about having achieved anything for yourself, you know, like nothing. We're not doing anything to make you happy. If you're gonna be the happiest person alive by being an artist, you know, and making like an X amount of money every year, like money that you can live and survive, whatever, but you're going to be the happiest person alive, go and do it. But people don't even do that. You know, they're chasing something that we'll never get, and they put everything into chance. You know, like to the point of the subject, they're putting everything into chance, everything into luck, because there's no luck. You know, they're putting everything into luck, and if their life is going to change, then it's going to change by chance. They're not doing anything for it, and at the end of it, nothing changes.
That's it. Well, what I like what you said there is that they say they're not. If I win the lottery now, I'm going to leave this job. And as soon as they've said that or had that thought, that decision's already been made. They've already decided they need to leave their job, but they don't realise that at the time. They go, if I win the lottery, like the only thing that's keeping them in that job is the fact that they're not millionaires. And then they'll go out and buy their lottery ticket because the jackpot's gone up. And then the next day they'll take that ticket to the same job and they'll sit there. And the only thing different in their life is that they've got a few pounds less, they've got a few dollars less, but they've got this ticket. And that's the only thing they've changed. That was as far as their effort went into changing something. Whereas if they'd have actually thought about it and then say, hang on a minute, if I won the lottery or if I won enough money, I would leave this job straight away. So obviously that's not where you want to be every day. I mean, I don't know what the working hours, your working hours are crazy. I know that much. I mean, but here you spend about 8 hours a day, 5 or 6 days a week at work, and you're quite happy for that to be somewhere where you're not happy. It doesn't make sense to me. If you're satisfied to be somewhere where you're not happy for the majority of your working life, and you know, other than being asleep, that's where you spend all your time, and that's the people you spend all your time with. So if you're not happy there, the choice has already been made, and I think it's very difficult. And I actually think we're in a world where it's discouraged to follow your dreams and to keep searching for happiness, even if you keep going from job to job until you land on one that makes you happy. It's people get so worried about getting the next job that they will stick in a job that they're not happy in just in case they don't find the next one. So it is a system that we've set up. Unfortunately, as a species, we've set up this system where everybody needs a job, but there isn't enough work that needs doing for everyone to have a job, if you know what I mean. Do you know what I mean? So say for example, if you go into a shop and you can buy these little toys that fall apart after a few minutes, someone's job was to make those. We didn't need that as a species. That hasn't progressed us. It's just a waste of time. And because everybody needs a job to survive, because they need to feed themselves, the food isn't created by the money exists because we invented it. There's still enough food for everyone to eat, but unless you have this money, then you can't eat because we withhold that from you unless you go out and work 8 hours a day. It's a crazy system and it's a crazy setup. So in that setup, you've got to learn to adjust and adapt and change. So if you know to survive in this system, you have to go out to work, then why would you decide to put up with working somewhere that was making you unhappy and miserable? You could literally do anything for a living. There is a job doing anything you can think of. People get paid to do if you put all your hard effort into it and it's a passion of yours. But I don't think we teach that enough. And there's the change versus chance thing. You know, the other flip side of change and chance is taking a chance. I mean, you don't want to leave stuff to chance, but sometimes taking a chance on yourself and backing yourself and you know, taking that leap. People are too scared to do it, but what they don't realize is if they do it and fail, they're no further back than they currently are. You know, if you take that leap and it doesn't work out, then you are back where you started. You're no further back. You're just as educated at that point as you were before you went. And you know, and not enough people take that risk.
You know what? And about leaving everything in chance, you know, and there's no change. There's no change by chance, you know, and by leaving everything in chance. So the thing is affecting the humans, the people, all of us, like way more than we can imagine. Because if I do nothing to change, and I'm working at that place that I hate, let's say the place guys I don't like, with the co-workers that they don't like me, or I don't like them, or we acting like we like each other, or we never talk outside of work. We're just talking only at work, and we never say hi, even we see each other on the street. Let's say if I'm spending 8 hours, 5 days a week at this place, is creating a mindset, for those 8 hours, for the whole day, half of the day, because one third of the day you're sleeping, the second third, 2/3 you're at work, and the next third of the day, either you do groceries or you're cooking or you're spending a little time with your family, or if you don't have a family, you live alone, you do something else, you're watching TV, you play games. There's no progress. So if you think about it, and people always to chase happiness, right? If I get this, I'll be happy. If I buy this, I'll be happy. If I buy that console, I'll be happy. If I play this amount of hours, I'll be happy. If I do this, whatever. And they don't think about the majority of the day, what is happening. And the majority of the day, they're depressed. So they working in a day that the majority of the day they are depressed, and they chasing those 1 hour, 2 hours that they're trying to be happy. They're not actually happy. They're trying to be happy. Instead of
squeeze all the things you want to do in that tiny little bit of window that you give yourself, to trying to squeeze all your favorite things into that, and you take that time away from yourself. You just give up,
and you can get depressed too.
You give up. Yeah, definitely. You
can get depressed if you don't. Sorry.
Yeah, you're giving up that time, and if you're not happy at your job, you're basically writing that off. You're writing that time off and just accepting that as, well, this is what I've got to do to get my food. So I'm just going to completely, write off 8 hours of my day, 5 days a week, and then trying to squeeze all the things I love doing in the 2 hours I've got, before I go to bed. But it is a shame.
I think our life is the top 5 of feelings that we encounter every day. If you are at work and you feel angry, upset, depressed, or whatever, and the rest of the day you have anxiety, you feel lonely or whatever, and if one of the 2 hours, 3 hours, maybe you have fun and you think you're happy or you feel happy or whatever, you're living in that bubble those 2 hours, doesn't mean you are happy. Then
no.
Whatever your life is the top 5 feelings you feel during the week, in a daily basis, And the thing is, the best thing you can do is just work hard for something that you like, that you love to do, and work on that. Because when you do that, happiness is gonna come as a byproduct. You don't have to chase it. You're gonna love while they're doing it. It's like, let's say what I'm doing right now. What we do right now, podcast, or when we're working out on the Zoom workouts, or when we work out outside and we find random athletes that are working out too, or we teach them about something for politics, and we do workouts together, we do politics, or this kind of stuff. If you focus on that, and let's say you want to bring it to your life as professional, just become something and extend it, you'll never work. You do something you always love, and when you finish it, let's say you're doing this for 8 hours, let's say, at the end of the 8 hours, you're going to say, oh my God, that was a beautiful day, and versus the other person that works to an office that he doesn't like. And at the end of the 8 hours, it's thank God, thank God it's Friday. It's Saturday, Sunday after. Can you, I'm hearing that every day.
Yeah.
People saying to me, oh, Angelo, it's Friday today. Okay, good. We're at the end of the week, And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Wishing your own life away.
Yes.
Wishing your life
away. Exactly.
Yeah.
You're wishing your whole life just to go away, live those 2 days. So Monday and Friday, you're waiting. You can't wait for Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, you're having fun. And Sunday, you're getting depressed because the next day is Monday. So it's a little mess. It's a mess.
Sad. It's a social setup that we've got that people don't question enough, and I think you see all these campaigns for mental health and things like that, and yet even your government and your leaders will have these campaigns about mental health and looking after yourself, but they are quite happy to have this system set up where it's not set up for maximizing the human experience. It's you've got to be out earning money, and that's the be all and end all. That is the priority. You know, that's what your money is. That's what your life is centered around. Because if you don't do that, then you get left behind, and you end up, you know, you end up on the street. So it's not maximizing human potential. And imagine how much more. I mean, we achieved quite a lot, but imagine how much more we could achieve as a species if everyone was doing something every day for money that they loved. You know, that they had a genuine passion about, that they didn't turn up to work and dread doing every day, or they didn't turn up to work and found that the work they were doing was destroying their hands or destroying their limbs, and you know, giving them, you know, making them ill. We haven't even spoken about that. I mean, the amount of people that go to work every day and what they do every day for money because they have to feed their family is actually making them ill. You know, either mentally or physically ill because of, you know, byproducts and chemicals and pollution and things like that. This is a massive topic that could go on and on and on and on about, you know, about the state of the setup, the system that we're in. But what we need to do is realize that we are so deeply set into this system that the only thing you can do is adapt to it and learn how to make it work for you. You can't. There's not much use trying to fight the system, because that tends not to end up going very well. So what you need to do is learn the system and learn how to work around it. And you can make changes no matter what situation you're in. You can make changes. Well, you know, no matter how big or small the changes might be, but a lot of it starts with realizing that you don't have to keep yourself trapped in that world. You know, you can at least seek a way out. Some people don't even look for a way out because they're so stuck in that world that they don't even realize they're allowed to look elsewhere. I think it's very important to know that, you know, you are in control. Whether it doesn't feel like it sometimes, you're not. It doesn't feel like you've got any chance of controlling your situation. But at the end of the day, the only person that can control what you're doing is you. So if you choose to go to this job every single day that you don't enjoy, or you choose to be in an environment every single day that you feel is having a negative effect on your mental and physical health, the bottom line, you know, the buck stops with you. You know?
Yeah. What you said so beautiful about the system. You know, once you understand the system, once you just first of all to understand the system, you have to my always opinion, it's to understand yourself. You know, what you like, don't like, what makes you comfortable, uncomfortable, who's around you, where do you live, what's your goals, what are you doing towards your goals, like a whole image of yourself. And then this is what I did. I took a pause a few days, you know, and I will start looking the outside, the system, let's call it, right? I was listening more carefully to people, how they were talking about their lives, or about what they like, they don't like, how they're always unlucky, why always happens to them, why always, you know, there's never change to them. And then I started watching people that they were saying, these people, the unlucky people, that were calling the other ones, oh, these are the lucky ones, you know. Yeah, this guy was always like, oh yeah, this guy, look at this, maybe he has no brain and he's a millionaire, or etc. So I was starting being like more careful of why this person says that and why the other person is the lucky one. What happened to him? So success leaves footprints behind, leaves clues behind, and it teaches you how to do it, how to change. So I started reading how successful people became successful, and every single one had the same pattern, the same blueprint, the same thing. Everybody says, you know, sleep early, wake up early, meditate. Let's say you like to meditate or do yoga, whatever. Exercise is to every single one for your mental sanity and for your body to be healthy. If your body is healthy, then your mind is going to be healthy. If your mind is healthy, your body is going to be healthy too. It's a thing that goes together. And everybody was doing the same thing. So I was saying, these people are doing these 5 steps. Wake up early, let's say, sleep and wake up early, eat and drink healthy, exercise and meditate. So, and also spend time with yourself, like, self-development, read a book, listen to a podcast, the Shape by God's podcast, for example, or listen to something good that is going to change you, and also work towards your goals, your passion, right. Something that is going to change your life. And everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
And the people that were the unlucky people that were calling the other people lucky, whatever, maybe the people in your family, maybe it's your mother, your father, your brother, your sister. Maybe these people are the ones that they're calling themselves unlucky. And you can adapt this mindset, this mentality, whatever, and you can become the same one too. You can say, Elon Musk was very lucky to have 4 companies and become the most rich man in the planet. It's not that. There is a pattern, and if you understand the system, I'm saying that, and I feel, if you understand the system and how it works, how the human is the best adaptation machine in the universe, like if you do it, if you believe it, if you try it, if you get this book that has a skill in it, like how to become, something, and you start reading it, at the end of the page, the last page, you're going to be another human, you're going to be another person. And the only thing you have to do is just do it step by step, one step at a time, and go through it. And that's it. The change it's happening. It's not changed by chance. It's changed because you did it.
That's right. I think it's studying. It's studying. You've got to study. You've got to study these things. I can remember our good man Jim Rohn. He said, "Find out what poor people read and don't read it." Don't read it.
Yeah, that was the best. Find what poor people read and don't read it.
And all the time, and life is a distraction, and people, TV companies, they are making millions of pounds by providing a distraction for the millions of people. That people will get to work, and they will talk about these shows that they've been watching, and as if that's their life, and that's all they know is what's happened in these TV shows. And then they go to work, and then they buy their lottery ticket and say, if I win the lottery, I'm not going to work here anymore, I'm going to leave. But what they did in their spare time was they watched TV shows that they could talk about at the same job. And you've got to study these. People are successful. There are successful people, and most of them, when they are successful, they love to talk about how they did it. They love to talk about what they did, because they're proud of it. And the information is out there. The information is out there. If you want to change something, find out what you want to change, or find out how someone did it. The information is always out there. Even now, you don't even have to be able to read anymore. You've got YouTube. The amount of things people learn from YouTube. You can get an audio book. You don't even have to read. You could be driving to this job you didn't like. I can remember when I first started on my journey to personal development. I was working in a job, and it meant that I was spending a lot of time on my own in a room separate from everyone else. And during that time, because I was doing a different process to everyone else, so I was separate from everyone else. So I was basically in a room on my own. And I didn't want that to be dead time, where all I was doing all day was just the job. You could put the radio on and just listen to music all day. I didn't want that to be dead time. I thought, I'm here 8 hours a day. I'm going to have my phone in my pocket, and I'm going to have audiobooks, and I'm going to listen to, this is where I first started listening to books like The Richest Man in Babylon and the Jim Rohn seminars on my phone in this room. And all that time, yes, I was in a job that was repetitive, and I was in an environment I wasn't keen on. But all that time, I was developing something. I was working on myself, and what it was in the end, I was getting paid 8 hours a day to develop myself mentally. yes, I was getting my job done at the same time, but that wasn't what I was doing there. I was, I could turn my brain off and do that job because I was good at it, and I've been doing it every day. Most people can do their job without even thinking now. So your brain is free, to absorb and to learn. And that's when I first started my educational journey. And that's when I started to realize, the self-belief came, because, there's information out there of successful people, and they have done things that you could only dream of, most people. And then you sort of realize through listening to these things, hang on a minute, they were just born. They were a baby when they were born, which is weird because so was I. So maybe we got something in common. And, it's, the path is there, and it's been laid out by all these people that have ever succeeded in whatever field they were in. The path has been laid out, and they've left clues for you to pick up as you go along. You can either go blind down one path, down the wrong way, or you can see all these clues. And the way we were saying about learning the system, life is a game, and it's amazing how 99% of people try and win this game without learning the rules. It's like you wouldn't sit down with a group of people to try and play Monopoly and just start rolling the dice without looking at how you play. And then you wonder why you're not very good at it. You wonder why you're not doing very well. You wonder why you can't succeed in life if you don't learn how life works. And that's the same as buying that lottery ticket. If that's as far as you're going to go, to change something, it's just to roll a dice and hope it comes out your way. Even if it does come out your way, the chances are you're so deep set in your old ways that you're going to lose everything you won anyway. So it's all about taking that opportunity to educate your mind. Mind comes first for me. My mind came first. I started working on my mind before I started working on my body. And I think, again, that comes hand in hand with realizing that you can achieve something. When you look at like pictures of people in magazines, you think, wow, look at that guy. He must have been born with those abs. You know what I mean? Can you imagine that as a baby with massive guns and shredded stomach? But we're all born pretty much the same. There are a certain amount of genetics, obviously, but we're all born in the same place. And if you work hard enough, you can get where you want to get.
Exactly.
And if you spend that time researching people, you don't even have to make mistakes anymore. People have already made most of the mistakes you're ever going to make. If you find that information and you can read the experiences of people that have already been successful, the chances are they've already made the mistakes, and you don't have to make them yourself. You can skip that part and move on to the next square.
What is beautiful what you said. I mean, I want to say something on something that you said. It's good when I used to see people working out, and I used to have the people around me that was saying, oh, this person is on something, he's getting like drugs, steroids, blah, blah, he's getting powders, whatever you can say. And I was always, the guy that was saying, no, man, there's another way too, you can just work hard and you can get it. And no, it's impossible, whatever, it's just to run this or to do this or to do, let's say, 100 burpees or whatever. And it's beautiful to, when you actually make it happen, when you start changing your body start getting shape, and you see that you're eating clean and drinking clean, and it's possible with a clean way. It's beautiful to see that, and you can prove to the other people that, look, I'm the person that you were talking negative about, and look, it's actually can happen.
But what's funny as well, Angelo, is that what will happen is that the people are so set in that mindset that, if they've achieved something, they must have done something, that they probably shouldn't have done. Yeah. What's funny is then, if you manage to achieve that off your own back completely naturally, you start working out, you improve your body, say you lose a load of weight, and, people look at transformations, on the internet, and there's this separation between the fact that they believe they can't do that and the fact, people still don't believe that anyone can do it. It's really strange. I mean, people give up on their journeys because they think, they must have just been lucky, Never mind the fact that perhaps, they stuck with it for longer and they worked really hard and they never quit, and they really educated themselves in every field of it. You didn't just do the exercise, you learned about the nutrition, and you set some mental demons to rest, where you improved your willpower through forcing yourself to learn new habits. All of that stuff seems to go out the window. They were lucky. I tried to have a diet, but I wasn't lucky. You're lucky. You naturally lost all that weight, and they completely overlook all the work and the actual and the mentality change that went into it. So it is funny, you could be stood next to the same people, and actually, do you know what? I'm guilty of it as well. When you're a kid, you look at people like, when I was young, it was it was pro wrestling and things like that, with all these massive superstars, and obviously, a lot of those, probably were taking things they might not have been supposed to have been taking. But the fact is, you look at it and think they are a different species. It's almost like you put them in a different category, and you see them as almost godlike. And you get bodybuilders who are, they are by the rules of the competition, they are not allowed to take performance enhancing drugs. But look at the shape they can get in. And the fact is, what they've used to get into that shape is discipline and commitment, and they haven't quit ever. And they put all that work in. But people will naturally assume, they must have done something like that they shouldn't have done, because I don't look like that. So it's this weird comparison. It's always this weird comparison.
Until you realize it's just only hard work. That's it. It's just only hard work on everything you do. Again, like I say every time to everyone, and I'm gonna say that forever. One step at a time. One step at a time, and hard work. Again, hard work. You need to put in hard work. You need to do those push-ups. Nobody's gonna do the push-ups for you. You need to read the book, because nobody's gonna read the book. Listen to the podcast. Listen to an audiobook. Listen to something, because nobody's gonna listen to you. And like you said, this is what I'm doing too. This is how I started my journey too for self-development. And I used to work in a place that had like some windows, except my break, some hours that I used to be just by myself doing something. And, I was always putting some music, my favorite band, whatever, this and that. And when I started my journey, I got my earbuds, and I said, this is going to be just for self-development. It's going to change. So when the idea is warm, when you want it, then it's the best moment to do the action for the change. So when I thought about for the self-development, right away I ordered my earbuds, and when they came, I said, that's how I'm gonna change. These moments at work, when I have the free time, like Tony Robbins says, the net time is the time that you're doing something, when you're doing dishes, when you are at work and you're all alone, when you're making the house, or you go for a walk, or you do freeletics or anything. Just put in your earbud, put your audiobook or something that is going to develop, you're going to develop with, and just listen to it. And this is what I did. I just put in my earbuds, I press play, and for an hour or two, whatever, I was listening to these speakers, because they were talking by experience, and the experience of others, and everything combined together. It's like a book, instead of reinvent the wheel, reinvent the car, reinvent everything, there's a book for it. So there's people, hundreds of people, that put all the experience inside a book. So instead of you spending your whole life reinvent the wheel, try to reinvent the light bulb, like Edison. Edison tried over 10,000 times to invent the light bulb, and somebody said to him, "You failed 10,000 times. You said you failed 10,000 times to invent the light bulb." He says, "No, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 times that did not work." So, you're getting that book, and there is the way inside of how to make it work. So if you read that book of all the experience of all the people and the person that is successful or whatever, you drink everything in one little pocketbook, and then you can advance, and then you go to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, and you change. It's beautiful.
Edison 10,000 times trying to invent the light bulb, and he failed, and he failed, and he failed, and he failed, and then he finally did it. And the other guy said, "Oh, he must be on steroids."
Yeah, he said,
yeah.
He said everybody's trying 10,000 times for something else. The guy tries like.
That's it. You think, this guy lifted weights 10,000 reps he did. Yeah, but when he looks in good shape at the end, he must be on drugs. They completely skip all the work.
So many examples. One beautiful example is like Ford, Henry Ford, when
the Model T.
Yeah, exactly. When he started like Ford and everything, he tried to compete with Ferrari, and he invented like something better by putting like a hard work, and everybody was against him. He says, no, there is a way, but we need to find a way. And they were failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and again, until everybody lost faith to Ford, but he kept them working on it until the researchers found it, they made it, and they were winning, I don't know, against Ferrari for how many years? Like 3-4 years, something in a row. Like nobody could beat them because they made it happen.
First year at Le Mans in 1966, they won top 3, and they said you can have the Model T in whatever color you like as long as it's black.
Beautiful story, man. Beautiful story.
It's so good. And this is the thing. These stories are there. They're written down, and all of them are stories of human endurance and the never giving up and. We're talking about massive achievements here. I mean, look at like what we've just done with Perseverance landing on Mars, and that is a huge achievement, and that is years and years of development and never giving up. And yet some people need to lose a few pounds, and they can't put the work in for long enough to do it. It's an interesting. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to just say you haven't put the work in, because some people, they don't realize that they can. If they just kept going, and it's the same. It's the same as losing a few pounds and as getting to the moon. Obviously, it's a much different scale. But if you said to yourself, I'm going to lose a few pounds now. Let's say I'm going to lose 5 pounds to get in shape. At that moment, if you actually make that commitment and you say, well, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to do everything I can, and I'm not going to stop until I've done it. That is very different to just going, I need to lose some weight. The amount of people saying, I need to do some exercise, that's different. If you say, I should walk, I should walk more, or I should exercise, that's not committing to losing that weight, and that's not committing to improving your health. That is just saying that, I should do it. It's when you make that commitment, like as a species, when Henry Ford said, yeah, we're going to do this, and there was no stopping. There was no stopping until it is done. It was going to be done, so we don't stop until it's done. If you can apply that to the small things in your life, and it just makes all the difference. And that is a lot of the time, that's all it takes. I mean, yes, getting in great shape, for example, it takes a lot of hard work and sweat, and it's uncomfortable. But what it really takes is that mindset of, I'm doing this no matter what. And that is what gets you through that workout. And that is what gets you through, when you have a birthday party and everyone's eating all cake and sweets and things like that. What gets you through not completely caving and taking a back step on your diet is that you've made that commitment in your head. You've made that decision. I want to be in great shape, so I'm going to get myself in great shape, and I'm not going to stop until I am. It's the same mentality, no matter how big or small the goal or the target. It's that I'm going to get there, and that I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop. Now, before we started recording here, Angelo, I looked at my Freeletics app, and I saw that that picture of me was back on my screen. And you asked me how that felt to see that I was on the Freeletics app, and I told you that was my goal. When I first ever found Freeletics, that was my goal. I wanted to be one of those people. And if you saw the state I was in when I made that decision, most people, you wouldn't believe it, but you wouldn't believe it. And I think when you make that commitment, and that's what I did that day. I made that commitment, and I thought, all right, I'm just going to work hard. I'm going to work as hard as I can. And it wasn't just, I'm going to get down and do exercise and then carry on eating junk like I was. It was, I'm going to do everything I can. And you take that decision and you make that commitment, and you know, you've done the same thing, Angelo. You've made that decision, and it becomes more than just something that you're making yourself do. It gets to a point where if you don't do that and you don't progress and you don't do the thing that you need to do to go further in your quest for whatever you're striving for, then it affects you. It does affect me. If I have days, rest day is my hardest day. I don't know about you, rest day. I mean, I struggle with rest day, because as much as rest is very important, I struggle to feel like I've made progress towards, you know, keeping myself in shape. So on days where I don't feel like I've achieved something, those are the hardest days for me. So it's gotten to a point now where I'm not just forcing myself to do something because it will benefit me in the long run. It's got to a point now where if I don't do something that's going to benefit me, then I get the itch, you know, I get really restless, and I can't handle it. Those are my worst days.
The rest is shows the hunger, you know, when it shows how hungry you are for self-development and you know, body development. It shows how hungry you are for the progress, to work out and become, you know, unstoppable in your workouts or on your books. Another book, you finish one book, you open another one. You know, the skills, how to get to other people, how to touch other minds, you know, more difficult minds, because everybody's different. Everybody reacts differently. You know, sometimes you see another person and you can't reach inside his mind, you know, when that person struggles, you know, and you're trying to help out, you see like you can't, somehow the other person resisting, but it's always a way to find a way to, you know, because everybody has its moment. So you're always hungry, you know, and the thing is, we are, you know, I'm thankful and I love it. You know, that's my passion. We're the species of the humans. We unconditionally give to other people, ask for the, you know, to progress and see the change happening, and for a better world, for a better life, for a better future, generations and everything. And I think that's our hunger. You know, it's always for the people. You know, like Elon Musk goes to the moon because somebody says to him, "Beautiful, man, beautiful." Somebody says to him, "Why Mars?" And he said, "There are might be so many million civilizations out there, right? They just progress to one point. Every star has its own life, so it's gonna die in million years, whatever. Our sun is predicted is gonna die in X amount of years, right? So it says, if to that point, if we don't reach the development enough for us to go to a different planet, while the sun is dying, is gonna kill the Earth. So it says we're gonna extinct, we're gonna cease to exist. So it says if we don't do it, if we don't go to a different planet, then that's it. The human race is done. He says, imagine how many civilizations, the beautiful civilizations, exist in the past, but because they didn't have the chance to move to a different planet, they cease to exist. And you see the person that he tries to save humanity, you know, to go to a different planet. So this is my point. This is our passion, to help this thing going to as long as we can, you know. Because if you're a little scientist and you're struggling with motivation, and if I don't know about it, but if I help you somehow, and then you're gonna become the future Elon Musk, that's gonna help somehow, you know, another company to get to another planet. You know, it's a beautiful chain reaction. You don't know, like you said on the other episode, like you planting a tree for the future people that they're gonna sit under it, but you won't be that person. You know it. You won't be that person.
That's right.
But it's beautiful to know, like, that seed, one kid maybe in 100 years, he's gonna play under it, or he's gonna have it swing. You know, it's gonna swing on the tree. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
We owe so much to the few people that have had that mindset, because a lot of people wouldn't dedicate their life to doing something that they weren't going to benefit from themselves personally. So we owe human progress and the improvement in our lives to a lot of people who gave up their lives just to progress the species. And I think as well, obviously the going to Mars thing, as far as like, you know, obviously he's thinking so far ahead. This isn't a tree's lifetime. This is you know, millions of years. You know, in order to preserve this species, he's putting the groundwork in now. And obviously, the way these things progress is, you know, everything's built on lessons that we've learned in the past. So the things that are being discovered now in science are very much thanks to the things that were discovered in the very early days of science. And to still be working on that, even though, you know, any work we do now, you know, we're not going to see the final benefits of, but to still dedicate your life to that betterment, it's we owe everything to it, really, don't we? I mean, we wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for people that decided, I'm going to put my whole life's work into, you know, improving the future. It's amazing. You're listening to the Shaped by Gods podcast. Right then, Angelo, let's get on to our regular feature now. It's time once again for the workout of the week. I put a "the" in it for some reason. The workout of the week.
Workout of the week.
Yes, our regular feature, workout of the week, is back. Last week we talked about NICs. That's a workout that actually a lot of people struggle with, mostly because of one of the elements of that workout is the stand-ups. We talked about stand up for women for the International Women's Day, where we did stand-ups for women. Basically, it is exactly what it says on the tin. In support of women. I mean, we need to continue that beyond one day. Obviously, that's something that, you know, the equality battle is going on and on and on every day. And unfortunately, you do see people that they did that one day, International Women's Day, and then since then it always seems to sort of peter out a little bit. So we need to continue that. And that includes myself. I need to be more active with everything like that, really. Every cause you need to be more active with. So on to workout of the week, Angelo. Last week we talked about NICs, which is a workout that consists of, I believe it's sit-ups, leg raises, and stand-ups. It's a core blaster, that one. So we spoke mostly about, it's actually the stand-ups that most people struggle with, and what we didn't mention was the possibility of, if you can't do stand-ups, you can do assisted stand-ups, which is just where you give yourself a little bit of extra help with your hand as you're moving up from that lying down position. You kick your legs back, you can put your hand on the floor to help you get up, and after a while of doing that, you do tend to progress. And I actually find it easier now not to put my hands down on stand-ups. I don't know about you. Once you get that momentum going, actually putting your hands down can be detrimental if you've got that speed built up. So we had most of our feedback was about those stand-ups, and it's a workout that is notorious for those stand-ups. It's the same as you know, as much as Metis is as famous for all three of its workout elements, you know, so the burpees and the jumps. NICs is very much climbers. And climbers, yeah. NICs is very much about those stand-ups, because the sit-ups and the leg raises, they exhaust your core, and then you've got to stand yourself up. So we had some feedback from Khan. So his first encounter was, he said it was only a month ago. So NICs is quite new to Khan. He said he was terrified about it, but completed it easier than he had expected. His current PB is 8 minutes and 16 seconds. And the part he's struggling, just like we said, was the stand-ups, right? So even though I made it with less mistakes whilst doing NICs, I still have some difficulties at the stand-ups. I practice them by putting some pillows into the place where I lay. So that's quite cool. Another thing is, you know, it's, if you haven't got a decent mat, it's not an easy workout to do, because it's that roll on that spine, which you need that padding on the floor. You do it on a soft surface, it's a lot easier. And I'll tell you what I found with NICs, Angelo, is I found it a lot easier to do the stand-ups without the shoes on. because the heel on those shoes adds an extra inch of clearance when you're trying to stand up. So just
I do the same.
So like we spoke about that a few weeks ago, didn't we? About certain exercises are better with, and some are better without shoes. So that's definitely one that I would recommend taking, especially because it's sit-ups and leg raises. So you don't need shoes on for that either, because you're not putting any impact on your feet. So so let's move on to this week, Angelo. We are doing this week
we're doing Morpheus.
Yes, I'm glad you announced it, because I was starting to feel like I was taking all the limelight with this thing. I like that you announced Morpheus.
Morpheus is the god of sleep in the Greek mythology, and is ready to sleep. I mean, not to sleep. That's the only thing you're not gonna do while you're doing Morpheus.
Do you know what? If there weren't so many Greek mythological gods, freeletics would only have a few workouts. I'm thankful that there are so many to choose from, because there's so much variation with the freeletics workouts. So Morpheus. Now this is one that always gets me, and this is one where personally I have to pay a lot of attention to my phone when I'm doing it, because you can't necessarily look at it, and it's not a steady rep count in each round, because the rep counts actually change in each round. So let's talk through Morpheus. It's a 5-round workout. So round 1, you've got 5 push-ups, 10 lunges, and 20 jumping jacks. It's the same free work exercises throughout, but the numbers change. So in round 2, it's 7 push-ups, 15 lunges, and 30 jumping jacks. Round 3, 10 push-ups, 20 lunges, and then 40 jumping jacks, and then it goes down again. So 7 push-ups, 15 lunges, 30 jumping jacks, then 5 push-ups, 10 lunges, and 20 jumping jacks. This one's quite a nice one. It's like we've talked about exercises with the inverted mountain. That this is the same as this is a mountain where you peak in the middle round in round 3, and that's your hardest round, and then it's a case of dropping the rep count again. So this is one where you really can push hard and get some really competitive times on, I think. What is noticeable about this one is it starts with your upper body. And it's a quick upper body, 5 push-ups and then on to 7 push-ups and 10 push-ups. But then it goes down to lunges. It's quite confusing for the mind, because one minute you're going, okay, we're doing an upper body workout. So all your blood and your energy goes to your upper body and your chest. Next thing you know, you're doing lunges. And it really, for me, it really confuses my legs. My legs are never ready for those lunges, because I've just been doing push-ups. And then you go on to the jumping jacks, which if you're attacking them and putting all your effort in, it could be quite exhausting, especially when you get up to the 40 rep count. And obviously with Morpheus as well, it's definitely one to try for a PB every time. I think some of them you hold back a little bit and think, okay, I'm feeling a little bit tired today, so I'm just going to go for good form. But with Morpheus, it's a race, I feel.
Yeah, Morpheus it's definitely a race. And like you're saying, it's happening the same thing to me. I'm getting confused because of the numbers. I don't have the time to memorize it. I just go by the screen. I'm doing just my best, and I'm looking at the numbers, the next numbers, and I keep swiping every time I finish every exercise. And it's funny because you do the push-ups and you have to jump to the lunges, then you have to jump to the jumping jacks, and you keep your chest and the upper body and everything from the lunges is still, it's getting hot now, and you're doing the jumping jacks and you're moving your whole body, and you keep it hot, and the jumping jacks are still increasing, and yet when you go from the jumping jacks to the push-ups, then you feel it, and you do the little pyramid, from 5 to 10, 10 to 5 again, and it's great, great workout.
Some of these workouts I can do the whole workout without even looking at the screen. You just tap when you finish the reps, because obviously it's the same. If you've done them quite a few times, then the rep counts are the same. It's quite routine. With Morpheus, I do find I have to look at my phone every time, say, okay, what am I doing next? So there's a battle between trying to get these reps out really quickly and then looking at your phone. And then sometimes you'll do a number of reps, and then you'll look back at it, and then you realize I've done twice as many as I needed to, or So it is definitely one where you have to pay attention, and it's not one that you can just not look at the screen and just tap and keep going. I think as far as advice for Morpheus, I think generally speaking, it's, you know, depending on what stage you are at in your own journey, because to some people 10 push-ups is very daunting, you know, the idea of doing that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so to start with 5 and then to 7 and then the idea of going up to 10, that can be very difficult for some people. But once you get up to speed, I think if you're going for PBs, the time is made up with the jumping jacks for a lot of people. Because some people go through the motions with jumping jacks and they just do that, but you can almost get to a jumping jack sprint, but you know, you're really getting those reps moving and real fast. But yeah, I like Morpheus. So what I would use Morpheus for generally is either introducing people. It's a good introductory workout for people that haven't done something like freeletics before. Obviously, if you're new to push-ups, it can be quite daunting, but you know, it's one where you can get through it at a push, you know, regardless of, you know, pretty much every level can get through it. It might take a little while if it's your first ever workout and you've never done a push-up before. It can take a little bit of time, but it's definitely one that you can monitor improvement on as well. And when it gets to a point where Morpheus is easy, then you can move on to things like you know, Poseidon and the tough ones.
If you also, if for any reason, you know, somebody, because we did in the beginning too, you know, struggling with push-ups, you can customize it, you know, to your own needs. If you can't do regular push-ups, you just put your knees down and the push-ups. You can do the 10 lunges like the way with the hands on the waist. Just put the hands on the knee, you know, every time you go down, push yourself back up, then go to the other knee, push yourself back up. And jumping jacks, I think it's okay. Just you can take your time, go slow pace or whatever. But even if you are, let's say you feel pain or you have low arch and you feel pain under or whatever, just, you don't have to do the jumps. Just slide your legs every time, you know, go right and do, you know, the hands up and down, go to the left, go to the right, go to the left, go to the right. And then go to the push-ups, knee push-ups, hands on the knees, on the lunges, and sliding on the jumping jacks as customized. Right. Otherwise, you can do the full workout.
Yeah, you've actually just addressed something that I was going to bring up at some point, but it's when you see these workouts, when they come up, say you've just signed up for your coach and you see these workouts and you look at that screen and you think, well, I can't do that. What you don't want to do is see that and then just and don't do anything. Because we've had this discussion early in the group where you are allowed to adapt these things to your level, you know, and give coach the feedback at the end of the exercise. So if you can't do push-ups, but you can do knee push-ups, then you do the knee push-ups. If you can't do lunges without putting your hand on your leg, then you do those and just feedback. If you say to coach that it was too hard or that, you know, you don't reward yourself that star for perfect form, then coach will adapt it. So the worst thing you can do is not attempt the workout. Try the workout, do your very best at whatever adaptation you have to make that adaptation, and then feed it back to coach. Give coach a chance, because I wonder how many journeys have ended too soon because you don't realize you can adapt these things, you know. So it is adaptable. Obviously, your goal is when you see these things and you think I can't do that, and you try it and you can't do it, that then becomes your goal. That becomes a target for you then. So you work your way up to that by giving coach honest feedback. Just make sure you try and do your best and make the adaptations. And if you're not sure about how to adapt a certain exercise, then you can ask. Feel free to ask us. I mean, there's the community will always help. You can ask us at Shaped by God's podcast. We're more than happy to discuss anything to do with freeletics because we've got a lot of experience with it. So if you're not sure or if you're uncertain about anything about it, then please do ask. We are ambassadors ourselves. We've got lots of freeletics ambassadors that are always willing to talk to you. You know, so if you're unsure, don't stop, don't quit. You know, it can be hard at first, but you know, there are ways around these things, and you don't have to. If you can't do exactly what coach is asking, then do what you can do, and then tell coach you couldn't do what he asked, and coach will adapt. So give it that chance, and then that will enable you to continue that journey beyond what you think you can do. You don't have to be doing push-ups and pull-ups on week one. Just work your way up to it. I'm glad you brought that up.
Just try one more time, you know. You just try one more time. the moment you understand that it's not getting easier, will never get easier, but you're just getting stronger, then I think everything becomes easier in your mind. You know, you're gonna do Aphrodite in 1 hour, then you're gonna do it in 50 minutes, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. It's gonna be the same exactly pain and struggle, and you're gonna say, "Oh my God!" You know, and when you're gonna get down to 20 minutes, you're gonna say, "Oh my God, that was so difficult." But you're forgetting you started by doing it 1 hour, and now you're down like 40 minutes, and just try one more time, you know.
What you got to remember as well is, if that first time you just said, "I can't do this," and you never did it again, look at what you'd have missed out on. You know, you'd have missed out on all these things you've achieved since, because, you know, you set your mind to it. I remember my first workout. I mean, I pretty good with my pull-ups now, but when I first did my first workout, I couldn't do pull-ups. I was, you know, but my mindset was, I'm going to get through this workout, even if I do a jumping pull-up, get through it. Give that feedback honestly, and give coach every chance he can to help you become, you know, stronger and to improve at your pace, because this is all about improving at your pace. This isn't setting a bar too high for people. This isn't saying you need to do this, and if you can't do it, then, you know, you're not good enough to be here. This is you finding your level and improving yourself. The other thing is as well, be honest. You've got to be honest with yourself as well as with coach, because if you can do it but it's difficult, that doesn't mean you can't do it. You know, it's all supposed to be difficult. So be honest with yourself, and don't hold yourself back and sell yourself short by just going through the motions. But at the same time, you know, if you genuinely can't manage something, then adapt it and then feed that back. Right then, Angelo, I think that's enough. I think we've talked for too long, and now you're probably very bored of me. So let's wrap this up for another week. That is episode 6 in the bag. It's been a good one. I think we've gone off on some very interesting tangents today, which I quite like. And I quite like. Do you know what? I like it when we don't stick to the plan. I like it.
The flow is like goes everywhere.
That's it. Be like water, my friend. Be like water. Yes, you got to be like water. Can you imagine we made a planet? Imagine we made a plan at the start and just stuck to it at every level. I don't think there'd be any natural progression. You'd be limiting yourself, because you'd think of something based on what you said, or, you know, what I said, and you wouldn't say it because, no, that's not on the plan. So I like this. I like this flow. I like it. That's how we approach. We'll approach every episode with a general idea, and then we'll just talk until we can't talk no more. Right. Thank you so much once again, my friend. Episode 6.
Thank you,
we're doing this, mate. We are 6 episodes in, and people are listening, which is nice. Right. Have a fantastic week. Look how pasty white I am.
Have a wonderful day, guys.
Nice.
Woo!
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Get in touch with us if you need any guidance, if you need any help, or you just want to tell us to shut up, then get in touch. shapebygods@gmail.com, or visit us on our Instagram page, or visit Angelo on his. That's where I like to go. I like to go to your Instagram page, because that's got loads of motivation on it, and it makes me work out a lot.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I love it.
Fitness for body and mind. It's
exactly.
Instagram page. Thank you for thank you. Yes, I'm trying my best. Your best is great. I like it. Right. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a fantastic week. We will see you again very soon. Enjoy yourselves. Be nice to each other. And remember, if you're going to play the game, you've got to learn the rules first.